Hey there, welcome back. It's Fina, and as you can see, today I am debuting my latest adventures in box dye. So, yesterday I dyed my hair ginger. It was purple before that. I dyed it purple, but it was like it washed out pretty quickly, so my YouTube channel never got to see that, sadly. But I wanted to dye it again because the experience was so short, and this was the other colour that I'd been wanting to try, so we're doing ginger for now. But I thought, we've done your makeup many times on this channel, but we've never done mine. So I thought today we could try my first makeup look as a ginger. Let's try and work it out together, shall we? Anyway, please join along if you're interested. So, let's get started. I think the first thing I need to do is actually put my hair up and get it out of my face. So, let's do that first. I'm just going to use a claw clip for this because I've got one here. There we have that. So, first things first, we always need to start with a little bit of skincare. And I'm not crazy on skincare, so in the morning I only will do moisturiser and sunscreen. So, this is the one that I'm using at the moment, which you might recognise because I've used it on you before. But this is my snail moisturiser. So it's got snail mucin in it. It's actually very nice. I like it a lot. I mostly like the packaging, I think, because it's so sturdy. It's a big thick glass bottle. But I usually use 2 or 3 pumps of this. And just slather it on. I normally do my neck as well, but I've already put on a necklace today, so I need to sort of go around that. I really like this moisturiser actually. I feel like it's doing good things. But I find it hard to review a moisturiser because I kind of feel like they all do the same thing. I'm sure there's some out there that are inferior, but I don't feel like I've ever had a different experience. And then of course, step 2. Is sunscreen. And this one I've mentioned before too, this is the Skin 1004 sunscreen. And I love it. As someone who wears sunscreen every day and cares deeply about it, I strongly recommend using a Korean or Japanese sunscreen because the consistency is really different to ones that you can buy here. I feel like I've never found a face sunscreen here that's as good as one that you can get from like East Asia. I think probably because they've been formulating sunscreen for everyday use and under makeup and everything with a lot more care for a lot longer over there because it's much more needed. But this one feels really nice. So I'm going to use a little bit of this. Not lots, because I don't really plan on being out in the sun a lot today. But you gotta wear it every day. And let's just get that on too. Making myself nice and red. I have one of those faces where if you touch it at all, it starts to get red. So it's not an allergic reaction or anything. It's just sensitive skin. Okay. But that's all the prep that I'm gonna do. That's all that I feel like I need today. So we can move on to makeup. And I've got a mirror here. There it is. That I'm going to use to do it. So excuse me that I'm not going to be looking right into your eyes this whole time. Oh, I've got some eye goop. That's attractive. But I did just get up. It is, at the moment, 9 in the morning. And I've got up and got dressed to set up. Now, this is how I'm starting my day. So, as for makeup, I feel my biggest challenge today is going to be my eyebrows. Because I normally would do them with this. And this is my eyebrow pencil. But it now is not the right colour anymore because this is a blonde one. And I obviously don't have a ginger one because I only did this yesterday. I haven't had a chance to go to the shops and try and find one. So we're gonna have to improvise. Probably with eyeshadow. We'll see. I feel like I don't want to go too crazy with the orange eyebrows because it could look a bit nuts. But I do want to darken them a bit compared to this because I feel like this doesn't quite match. So we'll see. But I think I'm gonna start with skin concealer. I don't like to wear foundation, so I'm just gonna do concealer and I'm just gonna do it in a few spots. Basically, just for spot correction. So today I'm rocking the aftermath of a pimple right here. So I'm going to cover that and also here. But otherwise, I think we're pretty good. I might do my under eyes as well because I've got my everyday eye bags on. And right now, I feel like this is going to be really different to the sort of do my makeup videos you normally see, where people have all these wonderful, like, expensive luxury products and like cool stuff. I have some cool stuff, but today for my concealer I'm using this one that's too light for me and this one that's too dark for me mixed together. And that's how most of my life operates. I got both of these. I find it so impossible to tell in a drugstore if you've got the right colour. I don't know why. If you've ever had this experience of buying drugstore makeup, you'll know that you'll swatch the little sample in the store and it looks perfect. You're like, great, I've got my shade. And then you come home and it's just like completely orange or totally white or pink or just something completely different to what you're looking at before. And I've done that in both cases here, where this one is just like, you can see it. Clearly, looking at me, I'm not a tanned individual. I'm very pale, but this is too pale. And I think I made the mistake because I'm usually, or at least I used to be, the lightest shade in any shade range. But in recent years, a lot of makeup companies have been doing their best to have a more inclusive range, and that usually means darker colours because a lot of makeup brands used to be awful at having anything appropriate for people with a darker skin, and now they've extended it. Some of them have also extended the other way for really light shades. And so I got this one, which I think was the lightest shade, thinking it would be me, and it's too light. And then I made the opposite mistake with this one, which is a little bit too orange for me. So what I will do is take a little bit of each one on the back of my hand. You can really see it now that it's on my hand, how heinously pale that is compared to me. And then I'm going to do the same with this one. I usually like to use a little bit more of the pale one than the orange one because I'm closer to that. And there's one that's a little too dark. I'm going to mix them together and see if I get the sort of right shade. That's not bad. We have to remember as well that it oxidizes a bit and gets a little darker. But like, I did okay. Let's go with that. So I'm going to do this pimple that I've got here. I'm just using my fingers because I'm no professional. I've got one here as well, so let's get that sort of as best we can. I still have, I don't know if I'm going to bother with it, but I've got the remnants of, I had a scratch on my head a little while ago and it's sort of left maybe a scar. There's these two little red marks that have been there for at least a month now, but I don't think I'm going to bother with those. They are not that intense. And I had a little pimple here as well, so that's gone. I don't need this to be perfect, I just want it to be that when you look at me it's not the first thing you notice. So I'm going to do my under eyes as well. I fear actually I might have made this a bit too pale, but we're going to put powder over the top of it anyway, so that's going to correct some of that. Okay. I think. I'm just trying to use the rest of it that's on my hand now, but I think that's okay. I'm gonna stop there. We're gonna move on to powder. And when I said, you know, people are normally showing their like best cool things, the theme continues here in that everything I own is like a bit crap. The product itself is fine, but like this, for example, I sat on it, I think. There's an obscene amount of products that I have which are broken because I've sat on them. And then also this is what it looks like. It's nearly time for a new one, but I'm using this until it's dead. So I'm going to use, it does come with a little like powder puff in the bottom, but I'd rather use this little brush, just like a tiny puffy one, because I need to reach the, the powder in the corners. And then I can also use it just to specifically powder the areas that I've put concealer on. Because I don't really want to put makeup where I don't need it. So, all of these spots. And then my under eyes too. Okay, all good. So let's reattach my broken lid. There we go. I'm going to pop this one away actually in my trusty makeup brush jar, which if you've ever watched any of my doing your makeup videos, you've probably seen before. This is all my makeup brushes, but I haven't used, or I don't use, probably half of these. Like, I don't even know what this one is for. I never use it. I have no idea what its function is. I think it could be a foundation brush, maybe? I don't know if people put foundation on with a brush. But it came in a set with all of these other green ones that I do use. And these two, of course, are favourites of this channel. But we got sidetracked. So, I think we're going to do eyes now. And I'm going to try and do something bronzy, I guess, to match the orange vibes around here. I'm also wearing a top that's got, I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but it's like a shiny bronze. So I've picked out a few palettes that I thought would be potentially useful because they've got some orangey, bronzy shades in them. So let's have a look at those. First one of which is this one, which my sister gave to me many years ago. I'm aware that makeup can and does expire, but I don't care. I'm gonna use it anyway. I hope nothing bad happens, but it never has. So this one is ancient, and it's from Profusion Cosmetics, who I don't actually know as a brand. But this is Mixed Metals Peach. And like everything else, I broke this one and the lid came off. Which you can also see where at some point I've tried to put it back on and the little clip from the front of the lid just scraped out a good bit of that bottom shade. But I never used that one, so it's okay. But this palette has these two colours, which I thought might be useful. So this one, Outgoing, is this sort of orangey nude. And then this one, Certain, is basically just bronze. And I think both of those could be good. And then similar to that, I've also got this one. This is the NYX Ultimate Warm Neutrals. And it's not really orange, but there's some sort of nudish shades like this one. It's less orange than the other one, it's a bit more browny. That could be good. Actually, I don't see a lot. There's this sort of bronzish one, but it's not very interesting. So maybe this one. My housemate gave me this. It was hers, but she never uses it. And it's also probably long expired. But this is a Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, which I would never buy for myself because it's expensive. So I'm happy that she didn't want it anymore, because look at all the stuff in there. We have many shades, lots of which are sort of orangish. So I feel like I could maybe use some of these, that one, or these two. It doesn't actually have a good bronze shade in it. It's got this quite brownish one, but I don't know about that. So I might use some of them. I need to remember to look out for eyebrow shades because I haven't got an eyebrow pencil, so I think I'm just going to have to use eyeshadow. So I need to look out for one that I could use. And I got this one out. This is the avocado toast one. And I don't really know why now because there's nothing orangish here. Maybe it's because I could use the red, this one, paprika red one. I don't know. Not so sure about that. And then this is a Revolution palette from many, many moons ago. This was my sister's, and at some point she didn't want it anymore and I inherited it. The front is not attached and does have a big crack down the middle of it, but it's got some really good glitter shades in there, so I'm not giving it up. But oh, it comes all the way off. This bronze shade, as you can see, I've used to death, but I might just get a bit of juice out of that today. And then there's a few sort of browny, bronzy ones, which I think could be good. And finally, I've just got this one single palette. What do you call it? Not palette. Pan? One pan? I don't know. This basically orange shade. I think that might be important. I was wondering if I could use that for my eyebrows, but it's too bright, isn't it? It's too orange. Maybe not. Okay. But I think what I will do is start with this one and just use these sort of two nude-ish shades to make a base to put my eyeshadow on. So I'm going to grab a bigger brush, this one, and use this one just to sort of cover everything. So I'm going to start first with this sort of just skin tone shade. And this is really only because it makes it easier to blend other colours smoothly on a powder base rather than on my oily skin where it wants to be patchy. So this is not for the looks, it's just for blending purposes. And then I'm going to put this one that's sort of like a nude brown just all around my eye socket as a sort of shadow. So this is just going to help transition actual colours into my skin a bit more seamlessly. That's that. So now I'm going to get onto the orange. I think my best bet is probably actually this one. I'm going to use this because it's still quite light. I don't want to go too dark right now. I'm going to use a smaller brush. I'm going to use this one. I will probably use this one for the rest from now on. It's just a smaller sort of fluffy blending brush. I'm going to take some of that. Now this I'm going to be a bit more careful with. I'm going to still blend it over the whole crease and the outer corner. Maybe I should put it on my actual eyelid as well. Yeah, I'm just going to put it everywhere. This is going all over. I think this will form the base of my eyeshadow look. I need to, because I've got very hooded eyes, like as you can see I've got my eyebrows a bit raised, but if I'm completely neutral much of my eyelid disappears. So I need to sort of crane my eyebrows, like lift my eyebrows while I'm doing this so I can access my entire eyelid. It's also quite annoying when you're trying to do eyeliner because it disappears. But I think I'm going to also put it underneath, just lightly, to sort of balance it out. looking very orange now. I feel like it looks silly to have like heavily done eyes and nothing else, but you have to bear with me. So I think the next thing I need to do is darken the outer corners. So what can I use for that? I might try this palette for that, and I'm going to use... I'm trying to look at my hair for reference. For a similar colour. I might use this one. Do these have names? They do have names. This shade is called Roxanne. Is it? Is that the right one? Yeah. Roxanne. Roxanne. That song always makes me think of... There was an edited version of it on TikTok. Like an audio. That edited it so that it just said rocks. And that was it. Rocks. Anyway, not important. Back to it. I'm just going to use this shade in the outer corners of my eye to make them a bit darker for the illusion of depth. And then sort of blend it a bit into the crease. And I feel that this is a benefit of not wearing foundation because I've got my hands all over my face while I'm doing this. Although I think probably there are people who do their foundation afterwards. But then I always wonder, how do you blend it out? Or do you just do the eye area and then do the eye makeup and then you do the rest of the face? Or maybe you just have more self-control than I do and you don't touch your face all the time. Okay. I feel happy with that. I feel like this looks actually far more intense on the camera, like I can see myself there, than it does in real life. Because I think the colours are a bit more vivid. So like the contrast is greater. I feel like I look like I've got much more orange eyes and much more pale skin in comparison to in real life. So I of course need to do the step of dropping my hooded lids and making sure that I can still actually see the eyeshadow. Okay, that's good. Well, now we get to do the fun bit, which is glitter. So I'm going to go to my crusty old palette for that. And I'm going to pick out a new brush. Because glitter doesn't... You don't need to blend it, really. It doesn't transfer as well with a fluffy brush, so I'm going to use... Where is it? It's not in there, it's this one. A more dense, like, thick brush. And I'm going to use... don't know what. I usually would do this with brown eyeshadow, so I always use these sort of bronzy, browny shades, but now there is no brown involved. Maybe I will just go straight in with this one, certain. But it's quite dark, so I'm going to be wary. Ooh, it is very dark. I'm just going to use a tiny bit right in the outer corner then where I put the darker eyeshadow. And it can be a sort of transition shade. It's maybe too dark. I'm going to give up on that actually. I'm going to use this one then. Or is that too? No. I'm going to use this. It's quite gold is my only worry. Oh no, that works. And I'm going to put this all over the eyelid. out. I'm gonna need to blend this a little bit after, but let's just get it on first. Well, there it is. It's quite intense, but I like it. Let's just grab that same brush as before, and I'm just going to sort of fluff out the edges a bit where there's a lot of product. Okay. Now I want one more eyeshadow. I would like a lighter shade to put just in the middle as a little highlight. So, like a gold or a light bronze sort of thing. There's this gold one, but I feel like it's not very pigmented. I don't love it. Oh. No. I haven't got a good one for this. What can I use? Wait. This could work. I have this little one here. It's kind of pink, but I think it might work. Let's try a little bit and give it a go. It's not doing exactly what I want it to. But I think it will do. I just want a little bit of shine in the middle. I'm gonna use my fingers because it's easier. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. So now we need some eyeliner. So this brown pen is my go-to. I don't know if it will look nice on this colour, whether there'll be enough contrast, but I'm going to try it. So I'm just going to go close to my lash line to begin with and just outline basically. And I'm going to do that on both eyes so that it's nice and symmetrical before I start doing any kind of wing. I know that everyone and their mother is going to tell me, don't stretch your eye. It's bad for your eye. You'll get wrinkles. Let me be wrinkly. It's worth it. Okay, so I've just done a line outlining basically my top lash line. Could do a little wing on the inside. I like to have a little point on the inside. Like that. And now we're going to do a little wing on the outside too. I like this one, but not that one. So we're going to fix this one in a second. It is, again, the hooded eye struggle, where I cannot do a wing that just goes straight up, like, because my eyelid is there. let's try this again. Okay, that's better. I like that. So that's my little wing on, and I can see I've got eyeshadow that's fallen down on my cheeks, which is exactly why I think most people do eyeshadow first. I'm just gonna try and wipe off as much of the orange. I'm just spreading it around. Hang on. I'm gonna use the tiny bit of makeup remover cleansing cream and just wipe that away. RIP to the concealer that I put there earlier, I guess. Okay, and now we can move on. I think the next step, 2 more things on my eyes: liquid highlighter and mascara. And this is the one I use. I don't really use highlighter on my face. I only really want it on my eyes. And this one is great for that. So I use a really tiny little brush. This one. It's really teeny. And this is like an eyedropper tool. But it's all sort of spilling down the side, so I'm just gonna grab it from there, just the tiniest bit. And I like to draw a little like line underneath my inner corner, like this. And then connect that to here, a little inner corner highlight. Like that. It doesn't look natural, but that's the point, isn't it? It's makeup, it's not natural. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. Okay, I'm happy with that. It's not like overwhelming, but I like having that little sort of pop of brightness. So, last thing then is mascara. And I don't have one that I'm ultimately that happy with. I just got this one from Essence, which is really nice, but because it's new, there's always way too much on there and it makes my eyelashes kind of clumpy, so I have to use it together with an old one that's pretty much dead to even it out. I might try a different one. I have some others. You know what? I'm going to use this one. False Lash Queen, it's called. Okay. And just coat my eyelashes. I'm not going to curl them because I can't be bothered. It would look better, but it's too much work. Okay, I'm happy with that. I want it to not look too clumpy, but I also want enough clumpage to make them look thick, if that makes sense. Oh, poke myself in the eye. I always feel very nervous putting on mascara after eyeshadow because I'm getting it all over my face, because I usually don't wear eyeshadow, but I do wear mascara. And so then I have the freedom to get it all over my eyelid and then just wipe it off after. But now I cannot wipe it off if I get it on my eyelid, so I need to be careful. Trying to sort of even it out, space them out nicely. But I'm not achieving what I want here. Like, we're getting weird gaps. It'll do. I don't want to do it anymore. And I'm going to put a little bit on my bottom lashes as well. Oh, this was too much, I think. It worked well on that eye. That's alright. Let's just leave it at that. Now I'm just going to clean up where I got it on my face. There you go. And I think that's the eyes done. So now I need to do my eyebrows, and I'm afraid of that because I feel like I could really mess up the whole look. So I wonder if any of these, maybe that same dark one, but that's really dark. I don't want them to be too dark. It's scary. What if we just put a tiny bit on a brush? I'm looking at, I've got a bigger mirror right here. I'm looking at it, I'm looking at my hair to try and remember what colour it is so that I can match it the best. I'm going to use a little brush for this. This one. It's sort of a stubby, angled brush, but it's still quite thick. And I think I'm going to try this one, this shade. Or should I do that one? Yeah, I'm going to go for this shade actually, which is a good bit lighter, a bit less intense, because I feel like I don't want to go too far with it and make them really dark. So I'm just going to use this one to sort of start brushing it on. There we go. Okay, that's not too bad actually. I can handle that. So I'm just gonna trace the shape of my actual eyebrow. Just fill it in. I want to do it sort of quite softly. So you can see now the comparison of one. I can only raise this eyebrow, and it really bothers me because I can see where this eyebrow is more arched than this one, because I assume I've been moving it like that for years, and this one, I just can't do it. So I like the shape of this one better because it's a bit more arched. Anyway, distracted. I think that looks better now. So let's fix the other one too. I think this is a good in-between. Although the other colour matched my hair, I think going a shade lighter keeps it from looking too crazy. I think I might leave it at that. I don't want to go overboard. So I'm just going to use this. This is the back of another eyebrow pencil that doesn't match any hair colour I've ever had, but it has a little brow spoolie on the end, which is why I kept it. Just brush that through. I can sort of look for gaps. Nah, that's fine. Okay, we've got eyebrows. So normally I might stop here. I'd put on lipstick probably. But since I'm filming this for you guys, I'm going to do the whole shebang and put on a bit of contour and maybe a little bit of blush. I wouldn't normally do this. So I think I'll use this big fluffy brush for the contour. I have a little contour shade, which ostensibly is too dark for me. It's too orange. Like if you look at my skin tone and then that. But I'm just going to use a tiny bit. What I really need is like a cool tone contour shade, but you don't get a lot of those here, at least. I see them a lot with sort of like K-beauty products, but I don't see much of it here. And I also just can't be bothered. I don't want to buy one when I have a whole thing like this. I'd rather use something that's a bit worse than buy another one. So I'm just going to put this under my cheekbones and then try and blend it out as seamlessly as I can. That looks really heavy on the camera, but it's just because there is an actual shadow there as well. You can see it better on this side where the light is. Okay. That's that. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. And then, do I need blush? Maybe, because I'm very pale. I feel like I should put some blood back in my skin. I have a little cheek tint. This is not the Benefit one. This is a knockoff one from Essence. We love Essence. But it's very pink, so I don't know how well it will go with this. So I'll just do a little tiny bit on each side. And then blend that out. That's alright, isn't it? I can live with that. Okay. Well then, to finish off, lipstick. Now here I'm prepared because I've always been wearing sort of slightly orange lipstick because that's my favourite. So I've got a few. Good options. Okay, I think I'm gonna go for one of these four. This one is quite glossy, but it's slightly pink as well. This one literally is a gloss, but I love it. You can see I refuse to throw these away because I love them so much. This is my favourite ever lip product, and it's from e.l.f. and it's a matte liquid lipstick? I don't know. But it's very, like, it's quite sheer, and it was very natural looking despite being quite dark. And you can see that I've rinsed it with all of the parts that the stick can reach. And like, it's not usable anymore, but I'm keeping it just in case they bring it back so I can remember the shade I had. But I don't think they're ever going to do it again. But they do still make the lip gloss, which is also reaching its end with me. So lip gloss is an option. Just a lipstick, and this one is a matte lipstick. And this one is quite orange as well. I think it's between these two. So the question is, do we want glossy or matte? I think we're going to go gloss. So I'm going to use a lip liner first, if I can find one. I'm going to use this lip liner and just outline my lips. It's not very neat, that's okay. This lip liner is a bit pink compared to all the orange. Okay. We have an outline. So now I can sort of just fill it in with the lip gloss. There we go. Not bad. Okay, I think we can leave it there for the makeup. So I'm just gonna put my hair back and then we're done. Let's give it a little brush as well. Let's get my mirror out of here. And then we have it. This is my first ever makeup with hair. What a way to put it. But yeah, this is my final look. To go nowhere. I just have a bunch of like errands to do today, all in my house, so I probably this won't see the light of day. But all of you saw it, and that's what matters. So, well, I hope you enjoyed coming along with me while I rambled on and created this. I had fun. I really enjoy doing makeup, like as a hobby, which I feel a little conflicted about because there's a sort of internal debate within me of like, I shouldn't have to wear makeup and it shouldn't be unusual for a woman to go outside with no makeup on. Like, it shouldn't be a form of protest, but it literally is. Like, the expectation for women to wear makeup is so extreme that if you don't, it's seen as unusual. Like, take Pam Anderson, like, going to red carpet events with no makeup on, and everyone be like, what is she doing? She looks terrible. Like, it's crazy that it's a form of resistance to just exist as you are. And that makes me not want to put on makeup for the sake of just looking nicer. Because it's noticeable to me that when I don't wear makeup for a long amount of time, I start to get used to seeing my face as it is and start to think, oh wait, actually, I'm not hideously ugly. But then when I wear makeup every day for a while, and then I take it off, when I take it off, I think, oh my god, Christ. And that, you know, we are ruining our mental health with this, and it's an expectation for women to look a certain way and to dress a certain way and to put on makeup. I mean, you're more likely to get hired for a job if you wear makeup. It's, you know, there's no debate that you don't get treated better as a person when you have makeup on, which makes me resent it. But on the other hand, I genuinely have fun with it. Like, I enjoy putting makeup on because I like it in the same way that I like painting. And I find it hard to reconcile those two things together. But, you know, I'm not going to do the thing that makes people treat me better. I wish I didn't have to, but I'm going to do it. And if I have to do it, I'm at least going to have fun with it. And I'm going to put on fun colours and match my head. But, yeah. That aside, I hope you enjoyed watching this. And I hope you like it. But most of all, I like it. That's what's important. But thank you for joining me. And I will see you guys again next time. Bye-bye. Hello again. I am, of course, back to say a massive thank you to everybody who supports me over on Patreon, where you can get a bonus video every month. And I'm just so grateful for you guys. Thank you for still being here. It means the world to me. And of course, I want to say an extra big thank you to those of you on my mid-REM cycle tier. So, thank you to Alexander, Bastian, Belly Button, CK Blackwood, Kosikas Kosikes, Hideto, Joel, Johnny B. Good, Luigi Rinaldi, Matthew J, Maxi Snacks, Michael, Nathaniel Romans, Skulls, Shane, Spencer, Thomas Jack, Tim R, and T Sharp 7. Thank you all so much. I can't explain how much it means to me to see you all here every month. I'm really grateful. You make a massive difference. So, thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful night's sleep tonight.